Hello, I'm Bonesaw, and I'm joined by Persuasionz.
Persuasionz here.
We are here to cast our match against Oakland University. I was calling them Oklahoma earlier, which is not correct. They are Oakland. I got it right this time. Our first map is going to be Lijiang Tower, a control map. You know, it makes me excited. Miami's generally better at control. It's one of our better map types.
I'm actually looking forward to seeing exactly what they plan to do with Lijiang. Very interesting pick. I'm not sure if it was defaulted or if it was chosen by any team, but it seems like both teams might end up enjoying it, since I think both teams have a pretty good record with this particular type of control.
Yeah. Miami, I know, has been looking at some interesting stuff. I mean, it's mostly the meta's starting to shift. I'm hearing things about Reaper and Venture and Bastion. Makes me very excited. I do love those characters. Excuse me. Wait.
Yes, if anything, we have, I believe, the potential lineup that we have for the tank being Crawley, my apologies, the DPS Wolfie, the DPS, other DPS being the Flex Stev, and as well as a sub with Carbon, and then a support of Froth Philly, as in the other support being the main support, Jax.
Yeah. Frothy Philly and Crawley, definitely two standout players on that team, both strong in their own right. I'm pretty sure Frothy Philly is currently in OWCS, and I don't know if Crawley currently is, or if he, I know he was at one point. Crawley definitely a very solid player. Just forgetting my Overwatch history here. Yes. Also, both teams going into this match 3-1 in Queen City Clash qualifiers, which means, I'm not sure if I'm doing my math right here, but I'm fairly certain that the winner of this match will almost guarantee themselves a spot. think it might come down to map differential in some instance, but important match for both teams.
Yes, they have one good shot to try to make it count. And even though we have another game after this, a couple hours from now, this is the big determining factor from both teams. Actually, this will give them a chance to be able to set themselves apart from most teams and at least be able to get a chance, as you said, to secure that spot.
I think, if I'm remembering correctly, this is one of the bigger years for Queen City Clash 2 in terms of the amount of teams that are appearing. I thought we only had to play 4 total games last qualifier. I could be wrong about that. My memory doesn't always remember the numbers perfectly, but yeah, excited for this match. I mean, there's not really much else to go over for the match. I think we're still in pick bands and getting the lobby set up, one or the other. So I think we will head to be right back for a few more minutes, and then we will be here with the match. Right, we are getting in here on Lijiang Tower. We got our first map. Interesting hero picks coming from both sides. I'm seeing a Torb, I'm seeing a Lifeweaver. I'm assuming those are gonna stay. Hog, maybe it stays with them. I've heard that Krabi does like the Hog, especially in some of their recent matches.
Yes, it would be very interesting. I like to see that they chose such a brawly comp between the two teams. It'll be between the Zarya versus the Hog to see who has the best
Yeah.
sustain.
Oop, switch the Reaper from Miami. I do like... Oh, wait, they were on Sim earlier. Yeah, both teams coming up to bridge now. Zarya from Miami, taking a lot of space here, trying to zone off the Hog. Hog gets a hook onto the Cassidy, but Cassidy gets bubble and he goes down quick. Miami is down 1 going into this next fight here, and they have to give space to the Roadhog. Zarya is backing off, while the rest of the team take their safe spot in Dojo.
Yes, Reaper's doing a very good job holding his angle with the help of Wu Yang, but it seems like they might have to kite back as they unfortunately lose another person, might potentially resulting in a reset now.
Yeah. Alfonso goes down. It looks like the rest of the team's maybe going to follow, but the Reaper is still alive here, and Hog's going low. Reaper TP's out, while Zarya's able to keep everyone alive, and they only go down 2 picks. Once their Wu Yang's back, then they're... Oh, big hook, and Pooter's off the map. That is unfortunate. You lose out on your charge there. I mean, Pooter prevents the ult charge from going to the Hog. Very helpful, but Pooter's out on charge there, and you have to reset.
Dang, a whole another reset. I mean, they'll have another chance to re-engage around 30%, so there is a good opportunity to try to keep... Well, it might even be around 40% now, considering the fact that it takes Zarya a little bit of time to get forward.
And, you know, Nitrous is only 1 or 2% behind on this Kitsune rush, so both teams probably going to have it going into this next fight here. Hog misses the hook. Reaper TPing in while Zarya walks forward with the personal bubble. All getting pushed back, his resources running low. Kitsune Rush comes out from Miami, but we're not really sure who it's towards. Crawley takes down On, and then pops the whole Hog to try and shred through Pooter, pushing him back towards the map. Cass goes down, but the rest of Miami stays on the map and is able to back up out of this fight.
Yes, it seems that Miami's having a little bit of trouble against this Hog. It seems that the pure raw ability to keep in there at that area just is too much for Miami right now. They have a chance to re-engage in a different angle, but they have to give themselves an opportunity to just really burn down this health pool.
And they're taking right side here, which is a play I don't hate. Gives Hog a lot less kind of area to back up and play around you. Kitsune Rush, oh my god, ults. Both Wu Yang ults come out, as well as the Kitsune Rush from Oakland. Pulse Bomb goes on to Nitrous and takes him out as Alfonso falls. That is a lost fight from Miami. A lot of Qs pressed at the same moment. Almost got a little caught up there, but yeah, I mean, that's a 1 for 2 trade for Miami, so overall good for ultimate economy, but, you know, 50% left on the point. Miami's got to, you know, haul to get there.
Yeah, so literally the last 10 seconds, and they might be able to use a grab mixed with a Death Blossom, but it'll just be too close. It won't be the grab, it'll just be the Death Blossom.
Reaper bubbled for the touch, Hog misses the hook, but Reaper has to Wraith form out, pops the Blossom, but to no avail. Everyone else backs up. High Noon coming out now, gets one. Soj half HP while popping the Sojourn ult, but Reaper goes down. Ooh, Soj low. Soj gets peeled back up, but Pooter pops the grab on the Hog in main, picks up the Soj by accident, but you know, it's worthwhile. Hog goes down 2, and that's a win fight for Miami.
Yes, it was really close. I was really concerned for a little bit. Oh, we
have
a
a
little
stacker on the Kiri kill.
Kiri v Kiri fight.
Yeah, so Miami has the Kitsune Rush for next fight. They only popped their grab and their Reaper ult, which honestly I think you have to pop it there. Oh, they also dropped the High Noon, but that was early. They're going against Oakland just really having the Hog ultimate, so, you know, I'd say Kitsune Rush generally a better ultimate to have here. You just have to be careful of figuring out that Hog's positioning so you don't lose anyone early.
They have a good opportunity to be able to really engage this if they can just notice that there's 2 angles going on right now.
They know the Hog's trying to cross through point. Pooter's zoning him back. Just the Hog and the Kiri there while the rest of the team walks point. They push onto the Hog Kiri. A move I definitely like with the Kitsune Rush here. Suzu comes out from the Hog, and you know, Alfonso goes down and so does Sire, but they do get the Hog. Miami has tank advantage going into this retake here. Just doing his best to fend up the Tracer. On goes down, but you know, Pooter is still alive on point, holding the space down with a high... Oh, Alfonso goes down, but Pooter takes down Jax on the Wu Yang. Just Pooter on point. Oh, there goes Kitsune Rush from Oakland, and that might be it. Miami actually does get another touch from Alfonso, but, you know, to no avail. Sire tries to touch as well. Does take on the Kiriko, but, you know, that was overtime touches.
Unfortunate. They really just had a lot of trouble getting past that Hog sustain, and then when they combined it with the Kitsune matching the Wu Yang ult matching, it just seemed like it was just a lot to deal with.
Yeah, I did like when they tried to push the Roadhog on bridge when Oakland went set up for that, you know, split play, but I think you have to be fully committed, all 5 people, to fully cross bridge, because the Sojourn's coming into point, and like we saw there, Sojourn has a great angle. If you don't get across bridge, you're going to kind of just get your head taken off by Soj. Or at least that's what they want to do, and it's what they did.
Yes.
Into this next map. Oh, I thought we lost game audio for a second. No, we're good. In this next map, we see Oakland switching to the Reaper Zarya, and then Miami switching to an Orisa Cass. I'm assuming On's going to be switching to the Reaper when they sim TP here. Yes, we got Reaper Soj Zarya for Oakland. Orisa, Cass, Genji for Miami. Now, a bit of an unorthodox pick meta-wise, but these are Miami comfort picks. I do like this comp here.
Yes, it goes within their strengths, and I really feel like this will give them a chance to re-engage this, especially with the aggression they have going on right now.
Both Bubbles, Suzu, and Wu Yang Wave get forced out from Oakland, and Miami takes space in the point. Pooter running out of health here, but able to force most of Oakland back. Miami just has to fully establish themselves here, but they evaporate. Cassidy goes down, Pooter goes down. Unfortunate.
I really thought they had it for a second. The aggression was there. They had them kiting back slowly, but not fast enough to really be a threat. And then they
did a good job starting and forcing cooldowns, but they weren't really able to push on Zarya because the Zarya was so high charged. The damage threat was just too high. Miami walking up here. We walk in the Reaper first, get a bubble on the Reaper. One Reaper Wraith Force, but that's Reaper down for Oakland. That's really good here. Pooter also switched on to the Zarya. I didn't realize I needed to point that out. And on to the Reaper, actually. And Sire on the cast. So a complete comp switch I didn't actually even catch at first. Reaper TP's in on the Wu Yang, but his Wraith is forced super early. Kitsune comes out from both sides. Zarya going low, but Pooter is able to be kept alive by Nitrous Oxide. Sire goes down to the high charge Zarya on the other side, but Nitrous and Alfonso both picking up kills out of their respective supports on the other side. They chuck a random grab at the end there from Oakland, and it gets nobody. That's a really good fight win for Miami. We see both support ults and the Zarya ult come out from Oakland for just Miami's Kitsune Rush.
The overconfidence of Oakland showing is now giving Miami a chance to re-engage this battle with an ult economy difference.
That's the grab you only throw out when you're at 99%, not 44. Miami ticking up to 20% here. As Oakland walks in, they're just kind of filling out the space. Pooter having a charge advantage going in. They go aggressive with the Reaper and drop the bubble, but not really much comes of it. Pooter kind of holding the space on his own, forcing out the enemy Reaper. Both Reapers trade spaces. Oh, there's Zarya slides in, or Sojourn slides in, excuse me. Takes down Sire, but gets traded out by Pooter. Kiri going low, 1 HP, but gets around the corner on taking out the counterpart of the Reaper and popping an enormous Death Blossom. I'm going to call it enormous because I like Death Blossom, taking down the Kiriko from the other side. Pooter just walking down the rest of Oakland here with that 70 now 100 charge and still holding on to Grav.
Really in a good position with Miami now. They're now forcing this middle fight engagement.
Pooter pops the Grav early. They take down the enemy Zarya. That's a good start to the play while On is coming back. Oakland just decides to kite out. That's the right move there. Miami's percentage taking up, and Zarya off the board.
They got into potentially the last fight territory, all from just having 2 good team fights.
Yeah, popping a solo ult in a lot of situations is not nearly as bad as one might think, as long as it's valuable and you get the kill, and Miami did. They're going to go into this next fight with their Kitsune Rush and their Sojourn rail going up against Oakland's support ults and Reaper ults. They pop the Sojourn ult early, as well as the Kitsune Rush, forcing the rest of Oakland back. While they are cutting the ults, they do have to touch the point here in a second. And here comes the Wu Yang ult onto the Zarya. Reaper goes down early, and the Wu Yang ult gets nothing. They try and extend with the Kitsune Rush and do take down the enemy Reaper. It is a 4v4 with no Reapers on the board, and Oakland taking control here. Kitsune Rush is still up, and Sire goes down. Miami trying to cut out of here. Nitrous also falls. Oakland takes percentage and does have some ults coming up, but you do trade out both support ults. If Miami's able to get their Wu Yang ult up here soon, maybe get another Zarya, or yes, a Zarya ult, excuse me, then I'd say this is still not looking bad for Miami.
Oh yes, it's still a very good looking fight. It gives Wu Yang a lot of time to try to farm a ult from this, especially now getting towards the last 10 seconds of the ult charge. Now it's just a matter of staying alive.
Both bubbles and both wraiths out for both teams. Miami gets caught in the grab early here. They trade for the Wu Yang ult, and Reaper goes down, but so does Sojourn. We catch the Kiri and the Zarya. This is looking good here. Reaper TP's on the point with the bubble, Wraith's chase, and So just down low, but makes it out barely. Oakland has to touch her with the Wu Yang and the Sojourn, and they cannot seem to do so. Oh, barely gets the corner of the toe on the point, and then Doom touches from Krawi, but gets caught in the grab early. Reaper coming in with the Wraith form, trying to pop the Blossom, but just gets absolutely domed by AHN, my man On right there. That's good stuff.
A real good turnaround. I really enjoy seeing the consistency to always be on top of each other during the engagements from the second round versus the
Yeah.
first round.
Yeah, the second round Miami's definitely playing a lot more stacked. I like them switching back to the Zarya Reaper into the other Zarya Reaper. I think they were expecting Hog, like we're apparently seeing back now. But the real thing I want to point out that Miami did exceptionally well there was their ult cycle. They were able to, I mean, sticking together is a huge important part of that, but they weren't really wasting ults where Oakland was. We saw the grabs, we saw some of the other ults come out, and while there were some neutral fights that Miami got kind of lost in due to, like at the beginning there, due to just kind of better cooldown usage, keeping the ult cycle held them in there for the rest of the round and helped them come out with the win.
Yes, I actually look forward to seeing that actually continue going on for this round. I think the Hog matchup actually goes in their favor.
Are they switch? Are they back to spawn? They are back to spawn against the Hog. I think we're gonna see a switch to the Orisa here. Yep, there it is. Not surprising us going up against the Hog, especially a Hog of the caliber that Crowie is.
I feel like I want to see how this matchup affects it differently. I feel like I would have preferred Zarya at this moment.
Oh, good start pick from Sire onto the Tracer. Jax goes down from Booter Scooter's Spear, and Nitrous takes down the Soju with a double dink to the dome. Just some quick kills from Miami. Not much more to say about that fight. Sire definitely getting a well-deserved clip there.
Just would not doubt at the Orisa. Free Javelin Spear.
Well, yeah, if you watch what happened, the Orisa was able to just force the Hog out of the space. The Hog can't really contend in much of these, like, open areas outside of Courtyard here against the Orisa. That Spear is too big a threat, fortify to block the hook. It's a really difficult character to push into if you're the Roadhog.
Okay. A Genji flank potentially going on. Potentially getting a free pick on Kiri. Ooh.
Aiden heard it and he backed up. Real smart there. Tracer going to kind of touch point, but this fight is evolving slowly. Fortify forced, but both teams back up. Suzu also out from Oakland. Arisa's walking back in here, but trying to hold Courtyard. Pooter drops a spin and the Spear backing up to point. Now this is the W thing about Miami's comp. I hate that I phrased it that way, but you know, you're just kind of able to force out resources very slowly from the enemy team and draw out their advance. So by the time they're on point, they really don't have anything to get themselves into point and hold themselves in point. Spinning Rush comes out from Oakland, but that's matched by the Rooster ult. Hog, or Kiri goes down, then Hog, then Tracer. Excuse me. That's something in my throat. But, yep, that was really good for Miami. They forced the cooldowns. They forced all the resources pre-fight. Oakland takes a while to walk in, and it's taken up to 70% here with nothing from Oakland so far.
Hog practically forced himself into an area that he just couldn't live in. I was very surprised to see that.
Yeah, Hog can't really hold Courtyard all that well, unfortunately. So, unless he has his take a breather, but they tried to force it in there. They swapped on to Winston. Very intriguing. I mean, I guess their plan is to probably dive past the Zarya here, or Zarya. So Orisa, excuse me.
They have one chance to do it, and I think it's too late.
Both Wu Yang ults out, as well as the Kiriko rush from Miami University. Sojourn ult popped and takes down Tracer from Sire. Sire looking to get one more, and he does. Stev, don't do the jugular. The blade comes out to finish the map. Kiri goes down, and that is it. 99-0 Miami taking map 1.
Turned it around. I really appreciate seeing that, especially getting to see On with his Genji and Sire with the Soldier. Really
great performance from both TPS, but let's not forget Hooters switch to the Orisa. They came out on Zarya on this map here, and they realized, hey, they have the Roadhog. Let's not try and force Zarya into a bad fight situation. Let's quickly Orisa comp, let's go for Hog, and make something happen here. Also, lovely play coming out from Nitrous. Compared to the rest of the plays on that map, was an interesting pick from the Overwatch video game. But yeah, really, really good map 1 for Miami.
Yes, I like to see that they can keep these engagements going where no matter what, even if they have a bit unfortunate first round, that they can turn it around and really show that no matter what, this is who they are. They are very good at adjusting. They are very good at switching from dive to poke to brawl if need be. And most importantly, that they can win those matchups with the Reaper, with the Kiri, with the Wu Yang.
Them on map 2, I think after they switched off the Orisa comp and took the Zarya Reaper Soj mirror, that I think was the big momentum shift. Because even though Miami lost a few fights after that, and I'm hearing we got a sub, Stev out, Frothy Philly in on Oakland. Now, Frothy Philly, generally a support player. I'm fairly certain. I could be wrong about that. I never remember positions all that well, but very, very good player nonetheless. No, I know I'm saying it. I think Frothy Philly's general main role is support, but I could be wrong, which I guess I am wrong. They're telling me it's DPS. Anyway, Frothy Philly's on DPS. So for the purpose of this conversation, that's the important part. Frothy Philly, very good player. Wouldn't be surprised if we see some Tracer on this next map. It's Suravasa, right? That's what I just heard.
Correct.
Yep, Suravasa, lovely Clash map. No, it's not Clash. It's whatever the map type is that I'm forgetting. Flashpoint. Yeah. And then who banned Reaper?
We banned Reaper.
Oakland banned Reaper. Okay. Not something I'm surprised to see. And then we ban Zarya. Okay, so Reaper Zarya off the board. The whole comp's dead. Looks like we're probably going to see Hog out from Oakland. Wouldn't be surprised if we also see Doom. Might have just been a touch pick. May have been something they're interested in. But taking the Reaper away from On, not a bad move from Oakland. On was putting up some big numbers on that character.
It's actually, I'm very interested to see how their comp goes because, ironically, what was it, about 6 days ago, Steph played Sojourn and Cass, and Froth Philly was the one playing Kiriko Zen. So it's a little bit interesting to see that not only did they switch Steph out, who was the DPS player, who I thought was going to be switched back in with Carbon, who's a Tracer main, but to instead put in this person they had playing support 6 days ago, which I believe is a good player enough to put in support.
I think that's why I was assuming we might see a Tracer out from Frothy Philly, because I think we're switching in. They're switching in Frothy Philly for mechanics, especially going into Suravasa, a map where you can play with these Tracer flanks. You can maybe do a Soldier 76, a Sojourn, something running around on the edges of the map looking for random picks, kind of just based purely off mechanics and a little coordination. I also wouldn't be surprised if we saw another Hog, which means that Miami could respond with their Orisa comp. It went well last map, and I'm interested to see what Oakland tries to do to deal with that, because I think, based on what I was watching in their previous matches, Hog was kind of their little niche pocket pick, little funky guy they could pull out, surprise other teams with, but became a weakness so far in this match.
Yes, I want to see how this goes. Well, this will be most likely Sire playing Tracer. If that is having I had to figure out exactly who's playing Tracer between On and Sire. It's very likely for it to be Sire, with On switching to either Reaper or Genji.
Well, Reaper's banned.
Oh, so
I'm assuming we're going to see maybe a Genji Tracer or a Genji Sojourn, something like that. I'm thinking we're going to want on Genji with Reaper off the table.
Yes.
W performance from On last map, and from Miami in general with that comp. So let's see what we got coming up here.
I want Pooter Scooter to go Winston if they're going Reaper Tracer, if they're going Genji Tracer.
I wouldn't hate a Winston, though. Against the Roadhog, I'm skeptical. The Orisa, I think, is a good thing to come out on, but if you're looking over on the left here at Oakland, they're not running a Roadhog, they're running a Junker Queen and a Cass. I'm assuming we're probably going to see maybe a Genji out from Oakland as well. But Frothy Philly's not on DPS, Frothy Philly's in on support. I don't know who their other DPS is, but Steve was out. But yeah, both teams running Cass Tracer.
Strike Commander.
Cass Tracer with the Junker Queen on the left there for Oakland, and then we have Genji, Soj, Orisa for Miami.
Yeah, interesting. Orisa already almost down to very critical health. Getting a chance to kite back in time, but they have to really get a chance to re-engage this together.
Lucio goes too far and falls to Miami. Jax is down. Oakland does have most of the spatial advantage and the cooldown advantage, but here in a second, once Miami gets their CVs back, they are going to be able to walk in, and they are walking down that Junker Queen, down a half HP from the spear in the corner, but Pooter has to pop Fortify and live. Pooter barely alive, but On takes down Frothy Philly on the Soj, or on the Kiriko, and then, Miami's just cleaning up after that. Does have to deal with the Lucio, and Oakland only gets like 10, probably going to get like 15-ish% here. Not a great fight start if you are Oakland. While they do get a good amount of brawling power, and they get 16%. Nitrous Oxide, 75%, or 74%, now 79% on that Kitsune Rush, beating out Frothy Philly at 40, 50% now.
They had one chance to really try to get that engagement going, and they just didn't push the Orisa hard enough to even remove her life. Again, low health, but this time succeeding.
Pooter just kind of explodes early, and Miami doesn't pop an ult there. Actually, we didn't have Kitsune Rush. What am I talking about? Yeah, you gotta be real careful about letting your Orisa take a lot of damage. in these pre-fights, especially or against a comp like Queen Trace or Cass. Once they force out even just Fortify or Fortify and Spin, you're basically going to take a lot of damage.
Very unfortunate. They have a chance to re-engage this time with Kasune, but I think they might have taken so much time to get this Kasune that both teams will most likely have it before the first one is thrown out.
Yeah, Nitrous probably can pop it here early, but you were all right. Frog Philly's going to have it going into this next fight. Sire, close to Soul Jolt, but Oakland has that Pulse Bomb, something you got to watch out for. It's going to be an interesting fight here. Probably going to see Max doing rushes, and there they come out. Orisa walking into the fight, getting cornered by the Jugger Queen, but they were able to take down Wolfie on the Cassidy. And Miami coming out here alive, takes down Frothy Philly as well. Pooter walking in there, just kind of taking names. You trade out Alfonso, but that's totally fine.
A real good engagement from Miami. Now they have a chance to get this into the very last fight territory with only potentially 2 ults to worry about. They might be able to beat in for this next fight due to the Queen Shout and the Lucio speed, but this may be potential. Oh no, it will not be anywhere near forced. They have a lot of time to regroup as long as they have the cooldown there.
If you're Cassidy, you do have the High Noon, but you got to be wary of that Orisa Spear and the Genji deflect. Sometimes that takes you by surprise. High Noon comes out, but Lucio goes down early to the Soul Jolt. Doge dodges away to survive the High Noon, and there it goes, not taking anyone down. Orisa Queen half HP on point goes down, but only after Miami uses both their DPS. Tracer does too. It is a 2v2 with the Orisa and the Kiri versus the Cass, and the Kiri Cass gets spear, just evaporates to the Wu Yang coming back from spawn, and that is point 1 from that. Here comes Lucio, feeding a little more ult charge to Pooter, who already has his ult. Did he get that spear?
Character development.
Yeah. It's for funnies, it's for stats. But, that's a really good point 1 take for Miami, and they keep the Orisa ult, they keep the Genji ult, and they keep the Wu Yang ult. Well, Genji ult not the greatest on its own. Both of those other ults are good combo potentials. Plus, you can throw it out in the mid-fight. And Nitrous coming up on a Kitsune Rush again. I didn't even notice that. I wasn't expecting to build it so fast.
I was going to say, a little bit ahead of Frost, but Frost coming in as the underdog out of nowhere with the 94%.
Yeah, we're looking to probably have 3 ults from Miami here, as well as a Kitsune Rush. There's the first one out in Frothy Philly. Nitrous needs 2 more percent to kind of match it, but a big Queen ult and a beat to match it. That's a lot of investment from Oakland. They do take the point first, and they take it pretty decisively. And Miami does use 2 ults, but that is basically all ults from Oakland. I think that's a 2 for 3 trade for Miami, so good in the ult economy department.
Yes, I was very surprised to see a Jugger Queen ult with a Lucio feed after the Kitsune Rush was already put out, but I can understand wanting to secure the point, especially when you want to try to get the point differential maxed back.
Yeah, Turn Queen trying to go aggressive here while Lucio going down half. Sojourns are traded out on picking up the kill, and Buck picking up the other one. Blade comes out from on and gets 1, gets maybe 2. Tracer does go down. That's 3, and it's just the Junker Queen left from Oakland. That's it. Picks up the Wu Yang again and heads back to point. This actually isn't just a 2v1 here. Queen could get a touch. With the Lucio coming back, that actually might be unfortunate. Yeah. Oakland able to get a touch, forcing the Suzu early and forcing the Orisa back. Miami is taking up their percent here, so they can get a touch back on here. They might be able to cap it, but no, they let it go all the way down. Queen coming out early. Queen going low. Queen happy to get foot. It's forced out, but actually gets taken out by Pooter, chasing down that kill like a good little man. Lucio going low, falling on, and Miami actually finally flips it. Good stuff. I was a little nervous because that Queen coming back there, but Miami made the exact right play there and took their time, didn't let any random picks go out there, and then got back aggressive when they had 5.
Likewise, I was very concerned for a second. I was wondering exactly why Pooter was just a little bit was very passive in that moment, but it was a good decision as they regrouped and got the control back of the point.
If a Queen's walking up like that, you got to assume that their supports are back, and Pooter did the right thing in assuming that. Oh, Sire goes down early. Unfortunate for this first fight here. And then Oakland's popping the Sojourn to kind of continue this. Alfonso falls right after. And I think, yep, Han goes down next. They do trade out the Kiriko from that one side, but I don't think that's going to be enough to switch it. Oakland gets this flip and then takes out Orisa and... Nike goes down. So it's 1-1 on Suravasa.
A very good, strong showing from Oakland. Miami just having that one engagement where Sire was not there might have just made all the difference to really keep that aggression, at least being able to be sustained for a
Oh,
little bit.
Nitrous falls super early. 20 seconds till the point unlocks. I say Miami just kind of backs up here. It's not that big a deal to get picked that early, and I say that because that's what I used to do a bunch. But they figure out where Miami's chilling on the right and do try and make an engage with the Queen shot, but aren't able to take anything out. And it looks like Nitro's going to be back with Miami here in a second, just as point unlocked.
They get a really good chance to engage this from a separate angle, and with the Kitsune, they might even get a double
Match
Kitsune.
Kitsune rush. The wrist pops the ult, going down real low and falls for the Suzu can even come out. That's forces Miami to back up yet again. Yep, Mr. Miami falls. A little unfortunate there. You got to be careful of your Orisa dying that fast once out of cooldowns. I did like the ult look from Pooter, but at the end of the day, Orisa, if the enemy team still has Suzu, it's a bit of a risky ult.
I gotta say it, I'm really liking this Nitrous versus Froth Philly. I did not know Froth Philly's accuracy was this good. They've been keeping up with their own DPS in terms of,
and they've basically been perfectly matching each other on Kitsune Rush, just having them every fight, or always having them every fight at the same time.
I really like this. I really enjoy seeing this level of play from both of them. I want to see exactly who comes out on top. Most likely being the reason that their team wins from this.
Oakland's ult economy definitely looking a little better, but Miami pops their social ult early and takes down the Kiriko on the side of Oakland. They pop a Wu-Yang ult from Miami as well. It helps take down Wolfie, and Pulse takes down Sired. That's what I was trying to say. But, it's to no avail. Miami flips it back. 90% for Oakland, but they do pop their Pulse Bomb. It's actually only a 1 for 2 trade. Not bad from Oakland, but, getting any percent is important when you're 1-1.
That's 100%. Plus, the fact that we are going to what I believe can only be the Checker Queen / Lucio. They get a chance to really try to get some point coverage going on without potentially sacrificing everyone.
Here go force back early, and here comes the Queen ult and the Beast. The Blade hangs back for a second while the Beat's still up, but looking to get in there onto the Lucio. Half HP, 1 HP Lucio low on the Genji here. We can secure the kill. Almost. Lucio 1 HP, but barely makes it out with the help of the Suzu. Sojourn ult coming out from distance, and Miami's taking cover. Reese is going low, but does manage to get survived. And Pooter popping up with his ult, looking to rock up here. Genji goes down, but they pop a huge Reese ult. Force the rest to come back. Oakland's forced to send out their Kitsune Rush to trade out, and ultimately are able to flip it back in their favor. But, forced everything out of Oakland.
They had a really good chance to just not have to deal with any aggression if they potentially would have kited back in time, but I think it was just a little bit too late, as you really just wanted to make sure that you kept as much dominance on the point as possible.
They did a great job of kiting that. Lucio goes down early. They did a great job of kiting that beat Junker Queen ult, but just weren't able to secure a kill to flip that fight back around. But Lil Jack's is happy to give him one, and Alfonso's happy to trade back out. Lucio for Lucio early here, and it looks like Han's also going to get taken out. Oakland sending 2 people to Miami, or 3 people to Miami spawn to kind of pick up those kills. Interesting strategy, but I don't hate it.
Yes, I'm not used
Lucio off the map, Pooter Scooter. There's the clip. Sorry to interrupt you. I just got hyped from that.
Oh no, I enjoy seeing Pooter Scooter get some free kills off the map, environmental kills off the map. I haven't seen one yet. Spiritual
fight win from Miami by getting that boop, even though they lost the actual fight, and percentage is ticking up in the favor of Oakland. Miami about 25% away from this Sojourn ult against the 70% of Queen and the current 100% of the Tracer ult.
A very interesting next fight they're going to end up having to have. No team will have it all besides the Tracer, but they have to force this.
Pulse comes out, Pooter's low, but both of them survive, and the Suzu, or with the help of the Suzu, Miami kiting that fight well and getting back in there.
I think it will be up to having a Kitsune battle, and this time not having 2 Kitsune.
Kitsune 1 comes out from Knight's dockside, gets the Queen down, gets him dead. Sojourn, or Tracer trying to take out the Sojourn Curie on the side of Miami, but, not working out. Sojourn able to push point. Jax goes down, Strike Commander goes down on that Tracer, and Nitrous forced back to point by the Kitsune, or by the Curie, but, at the end of the day, that's just stagger percentage. 78 for Oakland, counting up to about 15 here for Miami.
I can feel the desire that Nitrous had to want to get a kill on Frothy during that time period. I appreciate that instead he decided to try to re-engage with his Genji and then pick off the Soldier instead.
Nitrous overall now ahead in terms of the overall Kitsune Rush usage, forcing the TP out from Oakland early, but Sire gets gets taken out early in this fight here. Soch slide on the point to try and deal with the container rush, but is responded to by Pete. On just kind of hangs back, plays it safe for now. That's the right move there. Oakland's pushing forward, and Pooter's getting ready to pop the ult. No Sujo on that side. It's a good Pooter ult, but, you know, it doesn't play out much. Sojourn ult popped. Pooter goes down. Oakland's in charge of the point here. Defender's counting out. Miami's going to get a touch, and, you know, that's it. It's going to be 3-1 for Oakland. Excuse me. You know, Miami definitely more competitive on that round 1, taking it. What didn't look bad in round 2, but at some point on rounds 3 and 4, or points 3 and 4, excuse me, we lost track of the momentum and weren't able to really pick it up. We were seeing Pooter get really low, dropping early a lot of these fights, forcing cooldowns. But, you know, if they can play it like they played first, I think they can do it.
I really want to give credit to Arista for being able to hold her own and really trying to keep those engagements going, especially even though sometimes it was resulting in very low health pool fights. But maybe if they had enough unison together to make it be a fundamental strategy rather than a great engagement with just mainly the tank and maybe this is the help of Curie.
I wouldn't hate it if we had seen a switch from the Orisa comp back to the Zarya Reaper. You know, I think the Orisa comp definitely the right pick in the Roadhog. I think Orisa definitely has difficulty against the Queen comp because a lot of damage can go Pooter's way before the fight even breaks out, and Pooter either has to force a cooldown back up or just die right there, and either of those are bad options. So I think that, you know, keep the Orisa comp around if we see a Roadhog come again. But, oh, wait, Zarya and Reaper were out of they were banned. That's why. I'm dumb for a second.
They forced it.
Looks like we're going to go to a break here for a few minutes before getting to our map 3. Is it best of 5 or is it best of 3? Best of 3
so
for Queen City
the next
Clash.
one that wins this game wins it all. It's a very good. They made it a
Tense
good game.
map 3.
Miami just couldn't make it a simple game. We had to make it a very eventful game.
Miami was definitely looking more dominant on that map 1 after point 1. And then, you know, Oakland turning it around, looking a lot better on that map 2. So we'll be back with you in a few minutes for that map 3. And we're back. It is Esperanza time.
Alfonso Genji. Alfonso Zenyatta. I want to see this.
I don't think this is what Miami's going for, but I really hope it is. I want Bastion. I love Bastion.
Bastion with a ball. This is gonna be. I would love to see.
We are actually getting Alphonse. Oh no, we're not. Okay, I was gonna say. I thought we were gonna see Zen Fury with the ball, but no, we're seeing Tracer Soj with the Orisa versus a Hazard Soj with Tracer as well on Oakland side. Bans currently are Lucio and Zarya. Lucio from us, Zarya from Oakland. So, what are we thinking here with Miami's comp? Miami pushing up to main.
High ground flank from Tracer with the Sojourn holding main. I wonder if it will be the security to get a pick or the Sojourn to get a pick first.
Pooter trying to hold space here. And forced kind of back by the Hazard. Not really, actually. They just can't really force the Hazard out themselves. Spearing him back, looking to try and take a little bit of that space back with that bot movement, or just prevent the movement. Not really a whole lot happening so far. Miami and Oakland kind of just feeling each other out, trying to get a sense. But Aiden gets evaporated by the enemy Tracer.
Unfortunate. I was watching to see where the Tracer was during most of that fight, and I couldn't see it. This is going to be, unfortunately, a reset for Miami.
Silence goes down, but Nitrous does trade out the enemy, so it's not a total loss for Miami. Their Hazard's 1 HP, but God, that's an ability, that defensive shield that just damages you too. Yeah, Nitrous, again, amping frothy Philly in terms of that Kitsune Rush ult charge coming into this next fight here. Pulse Bomb definitely looking higher on the side of Oakland than on the side of Miami, but it's Pulse Bomb, not the biggest deal in the universe.
Looks like it will be up to seeing how On does his Tracer matchup to see how fast they can make this a good contesting.
Suzu and TP forced out early from the side of Oakland, but they are able to make the escape. On trying to pester on the backline there, but falls low and falls down to the Wu Yang water balls. Not really sure what to call those projectiles yet, I'm not used to it. But they're trying to walk in, get the Hazard low, but really not able to, and then eventually falls trying to touch the point. Miami unable to stop Oakland from getting the checkpoint there, and Oakland also looking really good on the ult front.
They really need to give themselves a chance to regroup using Tracer. It seems like every single time it's been Tracer being the first one to engage with no one really getting there in time to help.
Kitsune is out from both sides. Pooter trying to rock up to the fight, take some space here. Does take a lot, or does do a lot of damage on the enemy Hazard, but takes a lot of damage himself. Hazard coming back in the fight with the help of the Tracer, boosted with the Wu Yang. All the explosion comes out on a Sire, takes him down in total, but Frothy Philly gets traded out by Pooter. That is no Kiri on the side of Oakland. Another Wu Yang ult popped onto the self for Miami, and it pops onto the Hazard, getting him real low. 1 HP and falls to Alfonso, but you know, it's 2v1, now it's 2v0, 3v0. Oakland getting a lot of push percentage, and Oki swings forward with the Sojourn ult for some reason. Miami's
trying to push as much pace as possible, but he could have waited. There was time.
Yeah, Miami just kind of hung out and spawned and didn't get shot.
I guess you're trying to keep the percentage going for the intimidation tactic, but now you have to worry about Sire getting an ult in the next 5 to 10 seconds.
Enemy Soj falling low, but kind of backsteps out of there, and they trade out for the Genji of Miami.
Oh.
Good spear coming down the lane, but Miami is down 1 in this fight. We do see the soldier coming out from Sire and takes down the Kiriko. Then Hazard trades out for Sire himself, as well as Alfonso. Pooter coming back, taking out the Sojourn, trying to fight the Wuyan cart, and does get it with the help of Nitrous Oxide. Tracer recall forced at low HP, and Hazard trying to dive in there, take down the Kiriko. Not really sure where they're going, but does eventually find it with a very skillful right-click ability, but falls to Pooter himself. And that's Miami, turning it around for the first time here. Looking really good. Oh, unfortunate stick onto On, and then the Tracer Kiri behind trying to set up for something and, you know, challenge this Orisa.
I was just about to say that On's having not the best day, and right when I was about to say it, On gets hit with a pulse bomb.
Yeah. Ultimately, unfortunate to get hit by that, but it isn't the strategically best pulse bomb in the world. It's, you know, On's now right back in the fight, and this is a much more advantageous place for Miami to fight from. Wall comes out from the Hazard, blocking Pooter, as well as the swing with Pooter. Pulls them all in with the Orisa, forcing the Suzu. Hazard backing up, and then Nitrous Oxides. Kitsune Rush comes out, and then Kitsune Rush from Oakland comes out to match it. Pooter rocking up the fight as they take down Crawley, but trying to back up now and just live against the high damage from Oakland. Wu Yang ult to extend the fight. Pooter and Alfonso going after Miami, as well as Sire.
Yes,
Probably
Very
Philly picking up
unfortunate
yet
for
another.
Miami, but I believe they have at least 1 to 2 more engagements that they can have. Now with the Diva switch, they have a lot more sustain that they can worry about in terms of the Tracer, and maybe even having some carry engagements negated as well.
We're back to full lines for both teams. So Cooter's switching on to the Diva and us and Krawi onto the Doom. Both for touch. Diva's mech goes down early to the Sojourn, but Cooter does manage to survive. Here comes the Wu Yang all aggressive from Miami with the blade, but Cooter falls to the pulse bomb. Excuse me. On takes out one, Alfonso takes out the other. Falls low HP, but is able to survive and live. Miami overall taking that fight.
Yes, I think that I have a interesting strategy for Miami. I would like to see if they can try to force them to still believe they can keep engaging on this Genji, and then force engagements out
I don't
where
know.
they can dominate using
I
that.
see a Doomfist hiding behind. I don't think Miami picked up on it, and here it comes, backing onto Wu Yang. Diva's able to save the day and force the team to back up, as well as put some pressure on the high ground to force the supports back. Tracer pushing cart, but Doom's in a little too deep, forced to slam out.
So most likely this next fight to see if they can keep the engagement going, but they might lose Han before it even starts, unfortunately.
Doom able to back up and secure that kill off. You gotta be careful playing split like that. Be forced early for Miami, but they are able to get on the on cart. And Rocky Philly also popping this big punch coming out in conjunction with the Container Rush. Miami is forced to kite here in order to survive, but Nitrous does ultimately fall. Cooter's mech comes down to unfortunate loss as well as put it in the it's a little sketchy to get a touch here, as well as Genji going down before he can even get a proper touch. That's gonna be it. Oakland takes it. Good old fight at the end there. And that is GG's. Miami goes down 3-2 total in QCC. That puts Oakland up at 4-1. I think that generally means that Oakland does get to advance. We'll get to play the game from Frothy Philly here. Let's take a peek. Double head cross on Arisa. Take down the Wu Yang. Another it's a lot of just cleanup here.
Yes, a very good showing from Oakland. No bad words at all to say about them. They made sure to choose their engagements correctly. They made sure to use their Otakami around the same time period, if not at sometimes even faster than Miami. And thanks to their efforts of making sure to, even in the very last fight,